Hi, I'm Alice Bowmaker, and this is the Future of Fitness podcast. And today I'm with Jo B, and she is a dance instructor and a choreographer. And I met you at a dance class that Carly invited me to join, and
Yes.
I hadn't been dancing to a dance class in like 5 years because I'd been so scared of going back in and basically, being rubbish and feeling intimidated and it just having a really negative experience and it kind of being quite slightly traumatizing for me. But I went into your class and felt amazing and loved like the support that you gave and the kind of positivity and lack of judgment and um, not taking yourself too seriously, which is what I needed. And I came up to you afterwards and I was like emotional because it was
Yep.
like a big clearing for me and a release, and it was like super healing. So, um, and the alignment of like how you teach and why you teach feels like where I've got to with dancing. So, yeah, so I thought it'd be great to chat and
Yeah.
share you with more people so that more people come to our classes and yeah, so if you want to maybe introduce yourself about where you started with dancing and kind of why you teach the way you teach now.
Okay. Well, hello. Thank you for having me. Um, yeah, so thank you. That's so lovely. And what you just said about coming to my classes is exactly what I want people to get from my classes. So that's great. Um, yeah, I've been teaching for over 20 years now. My main work is I teach children. So I go into schools and I teach dance clubs and stuff. And then I've always, as well as that, taught adults, which I've always loved. I've always known dance was my thing. Like from when I was really little, that was all I wanted to do: dancing, singing, and just being, dramatic. Um, and I think it kind of took until lockdown for me to really start to think about how much dancing, movement, all that sort of stuff had such a huge impact on mental health, on just general well-being as well as physical well-being. um, I did some online classes for some dancers that I knew and like some of my friends, just really basic in my front room, just fun. And the feedback I got from that was so lovely. And, lockdown, we all looked for anything to bring us a bit of joy, a bit of fun, something away from just sitting on the sofa.
And drinking
Um,
wine.
yeah, drinking wine. Well, you could do that too, in moderation. And then what I didn't realize was how I would feel, because to me, teaching dance and dancing is just what I do. I don't see it as I didn't see it as a big deal, I guess, or a big part of what I was doing, even though it's my job. Um,
Mm.
and then I really started to feel like actually it's giving me an opportunity to get off the sofa. And even though I'm like, I knew people were on the other side of the phone or the screen, like waiting. Oh, it's 8 o'clock, right? Time to dance. And so I'd get out of my pajamas just about and put my sports bra and stuff and dance around. And then afterwards, I was like, I feel so much better. Not just, oh, I've done what I normally do. So I think,
Yeah.
yeah, that was a big turning point. And then the last sort of year and a half, I've just tried to do more. I've done a lot of research and like just been following lots of different people and seeing what is out there for well-being, and a lot of it is this isn't me saying anything bad about any other well-being, but it's all quite calming, and I'm not really a calm person, so I struggle with
Mm.
meditation and switching my brain off. So my thing that I'm into at the moment is I feel like going a bit crazy and really loads of energy and really noisy and loud is also super beneficial to health and well-being, and it doesn't just have to be that calm moment and that really serene kind of chill out. It can be putting on absolute bangers and just dancing with disco lights, which is pretty much what we kind of do.
Yeah, and I love that because I think um in terms of like what's available in dance at the moment, it feels like it's either you go out clubbing and get drunk, and but if you're not into clubbing or drinking, then you kind of aren't going to do that as much, or you
Yeah.
go to like a very hippie spiritual dance event, which some people really just can't resonate with, and also you do it for 3 hours, which sometimes people don't have 3 hours. You just want an
Mm.
hour or so of dance, or it's going to like a dance studio where it's super judgmental, and there's a lot of pressure and you're staring at yourself in the mirror the whole time. That's why I think your classes are such a nice blend of, yeah, all of those things, which makes them much
Yeah.
more accessible for the people kind of in the middle.
That's it. I think that's kind of what I'm aiming for. I have taught in studios, and I love it. It's great, and don't get me wrong. There's super safe studios, safe spaces where
Yeah,
it's lovely. But I think there is that feeling of people saying, "Oh, I wouldn't go to that dance studio because it does seem like it is judgy." And some of them are. I'm not. I think it's tricky because some classes will pick out certain students to perform because they want to get the good filming, they want the good
yeah,
content for social media, and I know that's important for teachers, for studios, for dancers. But
yeah,
if you are just, especially, like someone like you coming back to dance and thinking, oh, I want to give dancing a go again, that's probably not the space that you're going to want to go into.
no,
So that's what I didn't want to do. I mean, yeah, we film at the end and I get everyone to get their phones out, but more, I like people to be able to watch themselves and be like, oh, look what I did. Like, that I actually
yeah,
looked really good. Or, for progress. And obviously I want to see videos of everyone dancing because it's lovely to have that. But yeah,
yeah,
it's that kind of middle ground where you can
yeah,
not have to worry. I always say, getting the moves right is a bonus. It's more
yeah.
about come in, just letting everything go, forgetting about your normal life, and just having fun for an hour and a half, and yeah, just being you, coming back to what you love to do.
So when you were kind of going back to when you were first starting out in dancing, where did you train, and did you go into like auditions and things like that and think, nah, not for me? Or did you know that you were going to go straight into choreography and teaching?
So I kind of started quite late. My mum put me in tap and ballet when I was really small, and that was not for me. I was not graceful. I did not want to wear a tutu. So I kind of dipped in and out of kind of going to some classes, and then it wasn't until I was about 14, I think, my mum and dad were like, "Okay, we need to send you somewhere. This is too much." So I went to a performing arts Saturday school, theatre train, and it was literally the best years of my life. Was my Saturdays there. It was the best thing. I just thought, oh, this is my people, this is where I'm meant to
Oh,
be, and it was so great. And I think I always wanted to be ideally in musical theatre in the West End was my dream. um, but then as I carried on, I started teaching there, and I just became one of the teachers, and then through that I got more teaching work. I went to college and studied musical theatre, loved it, and then was still teaching, but started to have a look at auditioning and went to an audition or a couple of auditions. And it's very different now. I think now you can be completely different, and that's great. But when I was looking into it, you had to be kind of slim, blonde, pretty,
mm,
tall, to get your leg up to your head. And I was
yeah,
none of those things. And I thought, do you know what? I don't think this is how I want to do it. I think I want to, whatever my end is, I want to make my own way there. I don't want to do that.
yeah,
Um, I didn't have any bad experiences, but I just thought, I don't know if this is for me. And I was really lucky to have all my teaching work, and I just kind of got swept into that, which was great, and I've always loved it. And
yeah,
then I'm doing bits of getting to choreograph shows and things like that was amazing, and getting to do things my way. You know, I wasn't on, you know, in a big West End musical, but I've still got to do things that were great without having to, I don't know, change who I was, I guess.
Yeah. And you still get, when you're teaching, you're performing as well. I find that as well.
Yeah,
You get,
yeah.
you're that everyone's focus is on you.
Yeah, I'm at the front
You get to
making crazy noises.
entertain and make people laugh and stuff. And that's what I found from teaching classes now. Sometimes I'll make myself go and teach some classes because it gives me that hit I need of performing.
Yeah, yeah, definitely. And I do still perform. You know, I'm part of a amazing local theatre company, SMP, and they're just, you know, they put on shows, they put on musicals, pantomimes, and if I'm not choreographing them, I'm usually in them. And that's just another thing that's so amazing, because you've got such a mix of people. Like, we
Mm.
just go, we rehearse, and then it's not until you start to get to know people, you're like, oh, okay, loads of them are parents, you've got librarians, you've got doctors, you know, you've got a whole
Yeah.
mix of people, and you think you have a normal life, but
Mm.
then you just make time for yourself to come out in the evening and, you know, pretend to be a donkey or what, a queen, a princess,
Yeah.
whatever it is. And you're making that time for yourself to do something that you love and you're passionate about. And
Yeah.
that's, you know, that's the best thing ever, really. And more people should do that all the time.
Definitely. I think it's amazing that you've kind of created a kind of way of dance working for you, and not just saying I know I need to be in a musical theatre to kind of, even if it means compromising who I am and being sad all the time and all that time. Yeah, it sounds like you've made it work for yourself, which is well done you.
Well, yeah, I feel like the last year and a half, I just got to a point where I was like, I want to do more. And I was happy with my life and my job and teaching, but I just felt like I wanted to do more. And I'd always stopped myself from doing it and thought, oh, well, I could, but I'm not quite good enough. I'm not good enough to do this. I'm not good enough to do that. And I was like, I don't know, it was getting a bit much. I just thought, no, I can't be regretting things. So I just put myself out there and tried. If you don't ask, you don't get, is what my mum always
Yeah,
taught me. So I've just been asking and putting myself forward, getting rid of the imposter syndrome.
amazing.
Because I'm like, if you don't want me, that's fine. If you don't like me, that's fine. But you might,
Yeah,
and then I'll do some
yeah.
cool stuff. So, and that is, yeah, that's been happening. So I feel very grateful, very
Amazing.
lucky, and doing
Do you
podcasts.
think do you think that is easier because maybe you're not a teenager going into it? Because the only thing I think is going in, being a teenager going into auditions, your sense of self is so fragile as it is, and you haven't got any wisdom or kind of inner strength potentially, I would say majority,
Mm.
to like take all of that rejection without it. That's what happened to me. It really just eated away at my confidence. And definitely going and being older, you have, yeah, more life experience and, yeah, wisdom.
Yeah, I think anyone going into any career at a young age is a lot, and especially one where you are judged, you are always compare. And again, this is probably any job, I guess, but you are comparing yourself to others. You do, with social media, especially. You
Yeah.
look at other dancers, or even for me, I look at other dance teachers, and I look at people doing kind of what I'm doing or something similar. I think, oh well, they've got this many followers, and I'm like, I'm a grown woman. Why am I comparing? But
Yeah.
you can't help yourself.
Yeah.
It is that you do look at what other people are doing, and I think I can stop myself and be like, look, chill out. You're doing what you're doing. Have a good time. Like, it
Yeah.
doesn't matter. You don't need to be, you know, on TikTok having all these followers. I don't even know how to use TikTok. I'm so old. But
I
like,
don't really either.
oh,
Or Snapchat.
no, I like a bit of Instagram. I've
Yeah.
learned my way around that, and that will do. Facebook is just for uploading my pictures of my holiday so my uncle can see, and my aunts and stuff.
Yeah.
That's it. But no, but now there is so much of that, and
Mm.
I think there's like I said, even though it's a lot more open, I think, coming into this sort of industry where you can look different, you don't have to be skinny, you can be any body type, anything you want, any color hair. But I still think there is going to be that comparison when you're doing anything, and
Yeah.
that's a shame, but that is the nature, and I don't think that will change.
No, I think for me, I wish I'd just had more business lessons going into it, because you think, because it's show business, isn't it?
Mm.
It's a business. So it's not really about you as a person, it's about your brand and
Yeah.
all that type of stuff. I wish that was made slightly clearer to me, because it felt like it was person against person,
Yeah.
going into it.
And you could be absolutely amazing and go into an audition and smash it, but you're just not what they're looking for. And that is no slight to you. But like you said,
Yeah.
if you don't know that, you think, oh, I'm not good enough. I didn't get it.
Yeah.
I was better than that person, but they got picked and I didn't. So it's
Yeah.
constantly kind of gnawing away at all your insecurities or your self-doubt, rather
Yeah.
than thinking, I mean, I hope that people going into it, young people now, are more resilient and are more like, oh, YOLO, it's fine. I'll get the next
Yeah.
one. But it just depends on the person, I guess.
Yeah, I think it does. I don't know if people are, because we get so many things so easily nowadays, don't we, as well? So we have that like instant gratification thing. Like you can order something one day and it comes the next day,
Mm.
So definitely I think for the dance industry, for the majority of people, you need to like ride it out. It's playing the long game and keep going, even though you get that rejection or the kind of, the no's. So I don't know
Yeah.
if it is easy. I don't know. Are you more kind of connected into the dance school world, I guess, now, or?
Um, I still kind of do my own thing. Like I'll go to big events and see other big, huge dance schools that I would always look at and be like, why aren't my kids like that? Why isn't my dance school that big? Why isn't
Yeah,
and going back recently, actually, I was like, oh, this is what I so wanted so desperately. I wanted to be dancing on that main stage. I wanted to be part of a crew on that show. And now I'm like, I'm okay now. Like it's
mm,
been great at the time, but it is what it is. There's so much out there and so many different ways you can get into dancing and performing and teaching. It doesn't
yeah,
have to be, the top things. And if you don't get into the top things, you can still have a great career and still have enjoyment and love it
yeah,
without maybe a bit of the pressure. I think that's
yeah,
what I did. Like even recently, I took the pressure off. I was like, okay, do you know what? That's probably not what I'm going to be doing. I don't need to be the best dancer. I don't need to be the best choreographer. I don't need to be the best at anything. I just need to be really passionate, know what I can offer, and just love that rather than
yeah,
thinking about, oh, I'm not quite as good as that, or I didn't train at the best colleges. So what? Doesn't matter.
yeah,
I'm a good teacher. I love teaching. And that's what I bring to the table. And I think that's hopefully why people enjoy the classes, because I'm not putting on like a really high, I don't mean I don't have high expectations from my class, but it isn't that pressure. It is that let's just have fun. I'm not bothered about everyone doing every single move. I'm not precious about it.
yeah, yeah,
I'll teach it to you. Whatever you want to do with it, you do with it. If you want to roll around on the floor, if that's how you feel, that's how you feel. Go for it.
yeah,
And some people do.
yeah. I think and I think the way that you talk to yourself is the way you teach as well. So that the fact that you're more compassionate with yourself, then
Mm.
that shows up in how you teach other people.
Yeah. Yeah, I guess so. I think I've started listening to what I say to other people, to myself.
Yeah.
Like it's
Ah.
growth. It's like it's rich for me to stand there in front of people and say, don't care about what you look like, just enjoy it. And then I wouldn't be, not that I was ever super down on myself, but I've just feel like I'm listening to what I'm saying even more.
Yeah.
because I want to feel better and I want the people in my class to feel better. It's like a shared, that sounds well deep, like a shared experience. But it is like we all go through it. It's not like I'm the teacher, you're my students, listen to me, I'm gonna look incredible doing this dance. No, like I'll get bits wrong. That's just part of it.
It's not the end of the world. I think for me, like I put pressure on myself that I was only going to do the top jobs, and if I didn't get them, then there was no point trying at all. So I went for those and then didn't really get much success, and then was like, I just can't do it. So I just stopped dancing. And so maybe I should have had your approach, which was to, you know, take it down a notch. And
Yeah, because everyone wants the biggest and the best. Like, why wouldn't you? Like, always go after, I call it the purple cow. Always go after the purple cow, because you'll never find a purple cow, but
yes,
you might find something similar. So always go for the purple cow. But if you don't get it, then you can't put that pressure on. But that is a really hard balance, and that is, I think, something you do get used to as you're older. And that does come with wisdom. With, it's not, like you said, it's not the end of the world if you don't get that job. You know that now, but at the time you didn't know that, so you did give. And that is just, it's such a shame.
It is, because it's such a, then you have a, I don't know, you kind of feel like there's something more that could have been explored that kind of you didn't. And I went to Italia Conti, and I think there's all the value on being the top dog and being the favorite and stuff. And no one ever explained to us, okay, well, if you don't get big jobs straight away, try to make sure you're still looking at this. There was just no guidance at all of how to get into the industry at all. Nothing. But it might be different now. I'm not sure.
I mean, I hope so, because I think it's great to be pushed. It's great to be like, be the best, but at what price? You've got to have that fallback, and that, okay, I'm going to try and be the best. However, if I'm not, what then? Can I be second best and absolutely smash it? Yeah, sure. Like, as long as you're doing your best and you feel happy at the end of the day, that's the main thing. But that's not how it's kind of taught, I guess.
Not even the dance industry, or in any probably industry in our world. It's always about being the number one. So you teach children as well. You said that's kind of the main area, and you love teaching children.
I do. I do. They are, they're fun, and it's great to see. Like, I teach from when they can walk. I teach for a company called Diddy Dance, and it's a specialized toddler class. So we have ribbons, we have hula hoops, but as well as it being super fun, there's a lot behind it, like reasons why we do things, for their growth, their learning, their motor skills.
Amazing.
And it's really interesting seeing how dance helps that. And I've seen them like get bigger, and now some of them are very grown up and very old. But it gives you a good start. It is I want to say discipline, not that any of my lessons for any ages are really regimented, but there is that structure that, right, we're going to have a warm up, we're going to do this, we're going to do that, and then you get this outcome. There is that kind of story of how it goes. And I think that's it's like anything. It's like sports, any kind of after school clubs that kids are into that's not schoolwork. I think it's great. And to see kids dancing and then to teach adults, it's so funny for me, because I just wish that the adults I teach had the zero give it anything attitude that the kids have, because they just come in, the music goes on, and they go like crazy. And they think they're break dancers. They think they are on the biggest stages, and they have no worries. They don't care what they look like. what they're doing, what they're wearing. They don't care. And
Yeah.
that is just, to me, that is pure joy. Like,
Yes.
everyone should dance like a 3-year-old at a wedding. Like,
Yeah.
knee slides, everything.
So
And
what kind of, is there anything you do? You said like you do certain things for like specifically for growth. Like, are there any specific things that you do like I'm interested to hear about for like growth of the mind and brain or whatever?
I guess I think it's the way I think it's the way you talk to yourself. That's what
Okay.
I kind of like I say with the adults, I say to my kids, even if, they might be working towards a big show or a performance, I still don't want them to have a big pressure on them, because
Mm,
I want them to enjoy it. And I don't want anyone to have an experience like you had that puts them off of what they were so passionate about when they were younger. I would
yeah.
hate for one of my kids in years' time to be a grown up and say, "Oh, I had this dance teacher, and she just really made me. I had to do this, I had to do that, and if I didn't get it right, and it put me off dance forever." Like, I
Yeah.
would hate that. Yeah, we've got to get stuff done, and we've got to
Mm.
do a show, but that's just practice and encouragement, and hopefully it turns out fine. But you can't take away the fun just because you need a good end product, which I do
Yeah.
need. I need to get a good end product for the show, for the dance school, for the school, whatever.
Mm.
But it's who's it down to? Do I need to, just so I can say, oh, that dance was slick, that was 100%? So the parents don't care. The audience,
Mm.
they're kids. So
Yeah.
if it's not perfect, that's okay. But I will try and get the best out of them in the best way I can, without them thinking, oh, this is a lot at stake. Because I think that is how they need to take that into everything. Because, all right, lessons are important. English, science, math, that's all super important. But again, it's not the end of the world. Like,
Mm.
work hard, but you can't, if you put too much pressure on yourself, then you're not gonna achieve anything. And especially
Yeah, you
seeing
ruin
them.
like flow as well, don't you? That natural
Yeah,
joy, like you said, and creativity.
yeah, definitely. And seeing, they have their SATs and all their different exams. Yeah, they're important. Any teachers here, I get it. It's important, but the pressure is a lot on kids. There's so much
Mm.
pressure. So if they can come to me for an hour a week and dance, the last thing I want to do is give them too much pressure.
Yeah.
I want them to feel like they want to work hard and they want to achieve something, but there is that fine line between work hard, let's get something good, and working too hard and it not being fun anymore.
Yeah.
Same for
Yeah.
adults.
Yeah. Um, so what's one of the best things that you've choreographed?
Oh wow. Um, that's hard. That's hard. I was really lucky enough to choreograph for a few years at Glastonbury Festival,
Amazing.
in sort of one of the like stages they had. Not for
Yeah.
a celebrity, but yeah. So that was really good. So we got to do some fun, and I got to dance. So yeah, we did that for a few years.
Amazing.
That was cool.
Yeah.
Um, I guess I love choreographing the musicals that I do with the theatre company I'm in. That's just good fun, because you see it in the West End and you think, oh, it's so amazing. And then
Yeah.
to be able to go and do that with, like, such a talented group of people that should be on the West End, really. They're so good.
Yeah.
So to be able to do that just a couple of evenings a week, just sort of relaxed. Well, it's not relaxed. If they're watching this, I'm not relaxed. I'm like, come on. So what I said earlier about no pressure, I'm the complete
It's a
opposite.
lie.
It's a lie. But yeah, getting to do that. I've put together some shows with my friend. She's a great musical director, and singer and stuff. So We've done a few shows recently that we've sort of made up in our little brains, so that's been fun.
Amazing. And
Yeah.
where are your shows on that you choreography?
So I'm based in North London. So most of the shows we've done have been around there. So we've done the Millfield Theatre, and recently we've done a show at the Spotlight Theatre in Broxbourne, which
Okay,
was really
cool.
good. So yeah, kind of local is quite
Yeah.
support
But
local
you,
theatre, all that good stuff.
yeah, well, exactly, because I was just been into the West End to see, oh, it's like about based on a Greek Odyssey thing. What's it called? Oh, Hades Town.
It's on my list. Did you love it?
Yeah, I did, but I should have looked up the storyline beforehand because I
Right.
got a bit confused. But then once I worked out generally what was going on, yeah, it was really good.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. Any show I will go and see. I love it.
But I hate going into central London because, it's annoying. So I'm interested to go to theatre outside of London. So, and you
Yeah.
just
Yeah,
don't always think about it, I guess, unless you know or you see it at theatre nearby you.
yeah, no, there's loads. Like my friend lives near, I think it's Milton Keynes, and she says they get a lot of the West End shows. Like, will then have a touring cast, and they'll go to Milton Keynes,
Yeah.
which is like right near her, and it saves her going into London. Tickets are a lot cheaper, and
Yeah.
you're supporting the touring
Local
cast
theatre.
or local theatre groups, which is great.
So the place where you said you choreograph and you perform, what theatre is that at?
So we kind of move
Ah,
around, but yeah, that's usually in North London,
yeah.
Enfield area, either in Millfield Theatre or yeah, around the new one which we've just been to in Hoddesdon, Broxbourne, Hoddesdon.
Oh,
So so yeah, so
ah,
we're just working out what the next one's going to be. So
okay.
which should hopefully be next summer. So I'll keep you posted. You can
Yeah,
come and
yeah,
audition.
definitely. Let me know.
Come to audition.
Oh my God.
There we go. Hopefully,
Maybe.
okay. I'll
Maybe.
tell you
Yeah,
details
yeah,
later.
yeah. How funny.
Put you on the stage.
And so going forward, you said that you are looking to kind of do different things. Can you share a bit more about those kind of different things that you're looking at doing?
Um, anything, everything. I'm in my just go for it era of say yes to anything that appears and put myself forward for anything. Um, I definitely want to get more into health and well-being and add in dance to that, not just movement, but dance to music, to songs that you know, to Beyonce, to Girls Aloud, whatever, and dancing without having to be a professional dancer. I think that's one thing that I'm really getting at the moment. I feel like people will sign up to a yoga class, a Pilates class, a meditation class with no experience and just be like, yeah, I'm going to go and try yoga. I
Yeah.
don't feel like the same goes with dance. I feel like people think they need to be a good dancer or to have dance experience. I say it all the time on my social media when I'm advertising my classes, no dance experience needed. But I still think there is that barrier that stops
Yeah.
people. Um, so yeah, I really want to get more into that sort of world, I guess.
Yeah.
And just work with people, collaborations, doing cool events, and yeah, anything
Yeah,
really.
because you came to me with the idea for an event. So maybe if you wanted to share a bit about your idea for our event that we have coming up
Yes.
on the 28th
Um,
of October.
yeah, so obviously I know you do a lot of different health and well-being stuff, movement, yoga, meditation, everything. You do everything, girl. I love it. A bit of everything. And I thought because I know you loved dancing and you're a great dancer, I thought you could understand more that how dancing is the same thing. It's under the same umbrella as all the other stuff that you would do for your body, for yourself. So I thought it'd be cool for us to do a little thing. So you're going to bring your thing, I'm going to bring my thing, and yeah, it's going to be like a Friday night out, but without the having to get dressed up, having to get a cab to the club, having to
Yeah.
deal with people, which, I mean, there will be people, but not like random people everywhere.
Yeah.
Just, yeah, starting off the weekend, chill, but also, you know, good vibes, pumped up.
Yeah. Have some
Um,
fun.
yeah, and it's the Friday before half term. So any
Yeah.
teachers, any parents, you know, you've made it through from September to now. Um, Shake it off, let it go, but also get yourself ready for a week of
Yeah.
kids at home.
So you're yeah. And you'll be teaching like a dance routine or more just follow along.
I think it's going to be more of a follow along, because so you don't really have to think about choreography. It's
Yeah.
a lot more. I will guide you and I will be showing you what to do and calling out what to do, but there you can be a bit more free with the movement, I think, than a routine. I do have
Yeah.
dance routine classes coming up, but this one's going to be, yeah, a lot more just to enjoy it and not worry about what comes next, because I know that
Yeah.
is a whole nother brain thing.
I feel like it's like when you're on a night out and you all kind of know the moves to a song and you
Yeah,
all just start dancing together. That's
yeah,
how I, because you did one with Carly and that's kind of how it felt.
yeah. You want to feel like you know what's coming next. You feel comfortable, you feel confident, you know in the chorus arms are going up, or you know that you're shaking your bum, whatever is going on, you know
Yeah.
roughly what's going to happen. So it's, it's going to be well-known songs, hopefully feel good songs. I pick my music quite carefully. I love music so much, and I think it's just the best thing ever. So yeah,
Yeah.
there's certain songs, I mean, there's so many songs that make me feel something, and I think there's nothing better. I mean, DJs must get this. You put on certain songs and you just hear everyone go, oh, and that's what you want. And it's the same for dancing. You don't want to dance to a song that you don't know really, or you don't like. I mean, you can't please everyone, but
Yeah.
generally there's going to be something that people will enjoy moving to, and you just can't, you
Yeah.
can't help it. You just want to have a little groove.
And I'll be doing a good stretch beforehand so
Mm-hmm.
that you're ready. And
Yeah.
yeah, I think like just stretching beforehand can be helpful for just getting you like into your body and out of your head. And so people who asked me about the event, they were like, do we need to like what's the dancing going to be like? I said, look, you can do it or you don't have to. You can do your own thing. That's the kind of
Yeah.
the vibe for it. And then we'll have a bit of journaling as well so that we have the kind of moment of reflection and
I think
yeah.
it's nice to write down how it's made you feel. Like journaling is kind
Mm,
of kind of new to me, but I think it's just like a mini. To me, it's like a mini pep talk. Like I'll
yeah,
sometimes if I'm feeling a bit stressed, I'll journal in the morning. Not like pages and pages. I'll just write something down. Like stop stressing about this. Like
yeah,
focus on that, you've got this, and a little affirmation or something, and it does make me feel better, which I didn't ever think writing down would. But it's essentially just writing in your diary. You can write whatever you want. There's no, like dancing, like there's no rules. You can just
yeah.
do it if you want. So I think
And
it would be nice to have that as well.
I think going to like an event as well, you know that these things are good for you. You know that yoga's good, you know that dancing is, you know that journaling is, but you're not going to do them necessarily by yourself.
Yeah.
So coming to an event, it just makes you just yeah, take the plunge. And then you'll be like, oh yeah, actually I feel amazing. Why don't I do this all the time?
Yeah, you want to lock it in. It's on paper. You got to come to
Yeah,
the next one. It's on paper. And there
yeah,
is there is something I said about this in class the other week, and I haven't found the article I was talking about, but there is scientifically something about people dancing together that brings. I'm no scientist, but I definitely read something that dancing or maybe doing anything sort of shared interest together has a different impact on whether you do it on your own. Don't get wrong, still dance on your own in the kitchen, please. But there's that, you dancing around other people, it's a bit of a, obviously it's a bonding experience, it's fun, it's, but there is something about it.
Amplifies it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I would agree, because whenever I think of just dancing by myself as opposed to dancing in a room with other people, it never feels, I never get into it as much. There's no like bouncing off another person,
Yeah.
getting that feedback and connection as well. And just, yeah, because when you're out on a night out and you're dancing with a friend and you're having a laugh and you're being silly together,
Yeah.
you don't really get
Or if
that so
there's
much more.
someone else, you'll be like, if you're all dancing to the same song and you catch someone's eye, it'll be like,
Yeah,
hey, if you're in that like great mood. And I'm the same even when I teach. I will, make up the routines and I'll be like, yeah, okay, it's done, and I'll dance it in my front room just to make sure I've got it. And then when I get in front of you guys and I do it, I'm like, yeah, I love
yeah,
it. Because I'm getting that from you. It is, yeah, it's that feedback, that reaction to each other is just like the best.
yeah. So come to our event.
Yay! There's still
And
time to
if you can't,
book.
yeah, and if you can't make this one, I'm sure we'll be doing another one as well.
We're going worldwide. Put it on the
Yeah, why
vision
not?
board.
Is that on your vision board to go global?
There's a lot on the vision board. There is a lot. And we're ticking it off. We're ticking it off. But again,
Amazing.
it's aiming for the purple cow. There's stuff on there. I think, how am I going to do that? But I'm like, well, how do you do
Why
anything?
not? Yeah,
It's worth a try. Got to put it out
exactly.
there. Otherwise, you're just going to be.
What's your kind of, if you were to give somebody a piece of motivation to kind of, I don't know, do the thing that they've been putting off doing, what would you say to them?
I'm gonna seem so weird. I've already told you, aim for the purple cow.
Yes.
If you don't ask, you don't get, is my mum's advice, which I agree with. Um, a new one that I've kind of made up myself. So no, don't copyright this, anyone.
Okay.
It is, what would my ghost say? Now,
Yes.
I'm not saying you've got to believe in ghosts, whatever, but what would if I was no longer on this earth, how would I feel about what my last day was? And this goes for like not doing things. If I'm like, I
Yeah.
really don't want to go and do that, I'd be like, what would my ghost say? My ghost would be furious that I spent my last day doing that when I could have been
Yeah.
doing something else. And it is regret. It is living with regret. And I would much
Yeah.
rather have I can't speak, my teeth. Rejection than regret. That was too
Yeah.
much. I'd rather have 100 no's than be sitting here going, I wish I'd have tried that. I wish I'd have tried that.
Yeah.
It hasn't got to be a big thing. You haven't got to, I always joke that I'm going for world domination. That's what I call it. It's my world domination planning. But you've just, whatever you want to do, just do it, because you've got to get out of your own way. And I know that's
Mm,
it's really annoying to say and to listen to, I guess, but it
it's
is
true.
true. And it is hard though. I'm not being, Kim Kardashian when she's like, everyone has the same 24 hours in a day.
Yeah.
No, we don't. But you could just take a small step towards something that could lead to more and more and more. And then you'd be surprised if you do one thing, you're like, oh, I signed up for an online course. It's an hour a week. Great. Next thing you know, you're a qualified, I don't know, online course thing.
Yeah.
Whatever. Just go for it, because
Yeah.
your ghost will be furious.
Yes.
And it's
It's
spooky.
having that foresight, isn't it?
Yeah.
Foresight.
Trying to make future you proud and be like, yeah, I did that.
Yeah. For yourself, not
Yeah.
for other people.
Yeah, definitely. And don't get me wrong, if it helps other people and if other people are like, oh, amazing, then great. If you inspire other people, if you say, oh, actually, I went for a walk. I wasn't gonna, but I've started going for a walk every day. Actually, yeah, I could do with going for a walk every day. All right, I'm gonna do it.
Mm,
It is that chain of events that,
yeah.
and you don't know what's gonna make you suddenly switch and go, oh yeah, I'll do it.
So true.
You don't know anything. You might want to eat healthy, you might want to exercise more, you might want to do more work at your job. You know you need to do it, but when you're going to actually start implementing it, you don't know.
Yeah.
And no one telling you to do it is going to help. I know I need to eat more fruit and veg. When am I going to do it? I don't know. But something eventually will kick it
Yeah.
off.
And I think so I have to say to myself also that sometimes we have to do things even though we don't want to do them.
Yeah.
So, and like to kind of kickstart that momentum, you're coming from point zero with potentially no motivation. So
Yeah.
even though I can't be bothered to do it today, doesn't mean I shouldn't do it. And like there's
Yeah.
probably, when you see athletes and they're so fit and strong, they don't wake up every morning and they really want to train. Like
No.
that's a myth. That's some Instagram myth. Like they wake up and they don't want to do it, but they still do it.
I'm probably going to get this wrong. There's a really good quote that I've got saved. And I think it's something like, discipline prevails when motivation fails. That makes sense?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like, yeah, you might not be motivated to do it, but you'll be like, no, do you know what? I've got to do it. Like we get up
Yeah.
every morning and brush our teeth. Well, hopefully we do. And before bed, we brush our teeth. We get in those routines. Why? We just do. So why is it so hard to find other routines? It's something I struggle with, but
Yeah. I
everyone.
think being more of a creative person, sometimes it's harder to find that structure and regiment, especially if you're also self-employed and stuff.
Yeah.
It's not going to be your natural to be regimented with
No.
stuff. Whereas, like, say, my partner, he's more of an athlete, so he is very regimented with stuff.
Yeah.
It's like natural for him, whereas I'm like, well, I don't feel like that kind of person today.
Yeah.
I
You
feel
gotta
like
have
this
the
person.
balance. You gotta have the yin and yang. So it's fine. It
Yeah.
works out. It balances out. But yeah, I agree. I've learned that recently, that the reason I find I struggle with having a routine every day is because my days are different. Like
Yeah.
from day to day, I'm at a different school, different classes, different things. So
And maybe you live from a more feeling place than a thinking
mm,
place.
yeah. And usually I feel like I just want to sit on the sofa because I'm like, I've done so much dancing. I need a rest.
You to
But
watch
rest is
Netflix.
super important. Yeah. Rest is so important. And I'm just getting
Yeah.
into that sort of thing as well.
Well, now is a good time as we're coming into autumn and winter.
I know, the little wintering thing. So
Cozy,
yeah,
cozy.
snuggly blankets at the ready.
Amazing. Thank you so much, Joe, for sharing
Thank
all of this. Is there
you.
anything else you wanted to add?
Um, it's just amazing. Like it's just so nice to be able to talk about stuff. We're both self-employed, and I find that I've always kind of been a lone wolf. So now I am trying to reach out and meet people, and yeah, just have shared interests and be able to talk to people that get it. Because some of my friends, they get it, but they have different jobs. So they don't always understand when I'm like, oh, I've got to do this, I've got a plan for this, and I've got to dance, and I've got to do that. So yeah, it's nice to be able to connect with other people now that are doing a similar thing, and we all want the best for ourselves and the best for other people, and that's quite a thing, I guess, to have and to be able to share. So
Yeah.
and I think what you're doing is great, and talking to
Oh,
people about it, and yeah, I love it.
thanks.
Yeah.
Well, I look forward to our event.
Yes, 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 yes. So make sure you're following
And
us on the socials and
yes,
see what we get up to.
yes, very good. Well remembered. All right then, thank you for
Thank
joining me
you.
today and everyone for listening, and I will see you all soon.
Yay, hi mom.